I'm Dr. Kongsak Tanphaichitr. Today we'll be talking about the 3 degrees, which means full understanding or diagnosis in Buddhism, different level of understanding. This is from Unviersal Marks 606, Kotaka Nikaya, Mahavarawak. The first one is full knowledge of the known, or diagnosis as knowledge, determining knowledge as something already known, such as the 5 Khandha. A life form consists of 5 Khandha, or 5 aggregates of existence, of form, feeling, perception, thought formation, consciousness. So we know that the 5 aggregates of clinging are suffering. In the First Noble Truth, like the form of body included, as well as other form of sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thoughts of clinging, feeling of clinging, perception of clinging, thought formation of clinging, and consciousness of clinging. And we know the feeling, perception, thought formation are mental activities that one clings to, and these form the 5. These 5 aggregates of clinging form that self-image, self-concept, self-image hologram, which doesn't truly exist. It's temporary, arise in response to the environment that they're exposed to, but doesn't truly exist. It's unstable, unbearable, uncontrollable. Now, the next level is full knowledge of as investigating or diagnosis as judgment, determination of knowledge by 3 universal marks of existence, or characteristics of existence, namely impermanence, imperfection, selflessness, unstable, unbearable, uncontrollable. So at this level, you come to understand with full knowledge that everything in the universe follow the 3 universal marks or characteristics of existence, of impermanence, imperfection, selflessness, or tilakkhana. And this is called tilakkhana prinya. The first one was jhata prinya. So with insight, meditation, you come to witness the 3 universal marks of existence, the true nature of things as they really are. Everything in the universe follows that, including our body and mind. Physical change may be easily recognizable, like from a baby in a crib, become an infant, a toddler, and teenager, young man, middle-aged man, old-aged man, and death, like different chapters of the life. So physical change may be easily recognizable with times that you can recognize the change. Mentally it's difficult to perceive because mind is formless. But with insight meditation, you can see the true nature of your mind, which is formless, travel far, reside in this care of this body. Anyone can control one's mind will be free oneself from bondage of greed, hatred, delusion. So one would see the 3 universal marks of existence through mindful awareness, can catch thoughts as they arise, which is mind movement. Even though the mind is formless, you can train yourself to catch your thoughts, which is mental activities that you can catch. thought formation. You can see that thing are impermanence, imperfection, and selflessness in nature, arising, enduring, and ceasing as a norm. Continuity blinds the impermanence, when movement blinds the imperfection, and bundling blinds the selflessness. These are the three universal characteristics of existence that cover everything in the universe, except nirvana, which is beyond those universe. So the self-concept is not truly existing. It's just temporary. Exists in response to the environment. It's actually happening. In fact, it's selflessness. It's anatta, selfless in nature, not self. And the third level is a full knowledge as abandoning, Bahana Prinya, diagnosis as abandoning, to know by renunciation. Come to realize that the five aggregates of clinging are suffering, and the mind will let go the cause of suffering, which is craving for sensual desire, liking and disliking. No longer cling to the five aggregates of clinging. And basically the Buddha taught that. One come to realize what the Buddha taught, that all phenomena are not worth clinging to. Hey, my mind, let go. So all phenomena are not worth clinging to. With training, 24/7 of mindful awareness, through mindfulness meditation, through 4 foundations of mindfulness, to gain mindfulness and self-awareness. With perseverance, self-awareness and mindfulness at your body, feeling, mind, mental phenomena, basically at your life, as we dwell in this body, feeling, mind, mental phenomena, or these 5 aggregates of form, or including body, feeling, perception with pure perception, with pure mindfulness and self-awareness, and mental phenomena like your thoughts and so on, thought conditioning and so on, mental activities. So you come to witness that and let go, get rid of desiring and undesiring nature that happened in your body, feeling, mind, mental phenomena. Not clinging to those things, because you see true nature that they follow 3 universal marks of existence, of impermanence, imperfection, and selflessness, leading to insight wisdom. See the burden of clinging. All phenomena not worth clinging to might get disenchanted, discerned or dispassionate, and released or liberated from suffering. Come to witness the true nature of things as really are. Through 4 foundations of mindfulness, one come to see the 6 sense sphere organs of sight, sound, of eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Encounter with sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thoughts. It generates eye consciousness when you see sight, ear consciousness when you hear sounds, nasal consciousness with the smell, tongue consciousness with the taste, body consciousness with physical contact, and mental consciousness with your thoughts. So contact feeling follows with those encounter between subject and object through those 6 sense spheres. With perception, pure perception, then followed by biased perception when you lack of mindful awareness or disenchanted. It results in craving and disturbing thoughts and obsessive thoughts. It generates a self-image hologram through biased perception, as now they call eye tag, self-image hologram in Buddhist term. It's a hologram which is not truly theirs, but self-concept, self-image that your mind generates temporarily. It doesn't truly exist. In fact, when you perceive, like your vision, going through the optic chiasma and through the optic tract to the visual center at the back of your brain. And the feedback loop is 5 times stronger because of conditioning, biased perception. So you end up with bias, idea, perception, and craving and clinging. Neuroscientists say nowadays that in parallel with generating mental patterns for an object, the brain also generates a sense of self in the act of knowing. Professor Antonio Damasio, he was chief of neurology at University of Iowa, subsequently moved to direct the brain center at USC in California. But the Buddha said it is not parallel, it's sequential from contact, feeling, perception, before it becomes biased perception. With lack of mindfulness, self-awareness, it becomes biased perception. So it's sequential, not parallel. So it results in craving with sensual desire, liking and disliking, which is second noble truth. It's a cause of suffering that you need to eradicate this cause because you crave with sensual desire, liking and disliking, end up with suffering from the clinging to the 5 aggregates as self. So mindful awareness will slice it and stop it at the pure perception without becoming biased perception. So no more cause of suffering. It's the end of suffering, or nirvana. So basically a life form, a person, consists of 5 skandha or khandhas, a body or form, feeling, perception, thought formation, and consciousness. These form mental activities of feeling, perception, and thought formation generated from the mind or consciousness. So basically it's body and mind. Body is the first one, then there is the last 4 formed in the mind or name and form. Form is the body, basically. That's how you basically Buddhism see a person as name and combination of name and form. And mind consciousness is formless, but you can track or trace them down through feeling, perception, and thought formation. You leave the track behind it. You can train your mind to catch them, like catching your thought or feeling of happiness, unhappiness, or neutral feelings with pure perception. So when you see a thing with mindful awareness or actively, you see a thing neutrally with pure perception of perceptual processing with pure vedana or feeling and sanya, pure perception, without glorifying into biased perception and so on, without bias basically. If you lack of mindful awareness, or people never train their mind or develop their mind, or without hearing what the Buddha taught, they will perceive things habitually with conceptual processing or sanya cetana. So we perceive things passively, biasedly, with sankhara, or you have bias, conditioning in your thoughts. So you end up with suffering. As you see, thing with bias. But a learned noble one, or learned noble disciple, when they're exposed to the six sense spheres, in the eye exposed to sight, ear to the sound, nose to the smell, tongue with the taste, body contact with the touch, and mind with the thoughts. They become disenchanted in the contact. So it's the eye consciousness that generate when the ear consciousness when you hear sound, eye consciousness when you see sight, nasal consciousness with the smell, tongue consciousness with the taste, body consciousness with the touch, and mental consciousness with your thoughts. So they're not clinging to the feeling of pleasure or pain, or neither pleasure or pain. They just see it as it is, let it pass. Become disenchanted, dispassionate, discerned, and liberate, or release from suffering in their mind without clinging to them. So no more suffering. Insight, wisdom arises. Realize liberation. Birth is ended. The holy life fulfilled. The task is done. There's nothing else further beyond this. And that's the completion of the third degree of abandonment. Abandoning. Or Pahana Prinya, the highest level of practice. So one's duty is basically like taking care of the plants. For it to blossom, you need to water them properly, not overflood them. Give them sunlight properly, and with fertilization accordingly. And then it's up to the plants to bear the flowers. If you've done everything, it will bear flowers eventually. So your job is to perform your duty accordingly, like watering the plant. Keep practicing and energize it with fertilizer, and give them proper sunlight and so on. With mindful awareness, you can eventually let the plant bear the flowers. And whatever you plant in, you get the specific flowers for that. Thank you for your attention. That's the way that you gain the 3 degrees in Buddhism. It is the highest degree in Buddhism is basically Pahana Prinya. Just to show you, this is in Pali called the 3 degrees. First one called Yata Prinya, basically full knowledge of the known. Second, Tirana Prinya, second level, you full knowledge as judgment that thing follow the 3 universal marks of existence of impermanence, imperfection, and selflessness that govern everything in the universe except nirvana. And the third one is Pahana Prinya, full knowledge as abandoning, diagnosis as abandoning. So these are the 3 levels of degrees that one would learn through your practice in Buddhism. So it needs practice to attain the highest level, not just reading about it or learn about it. So one need to study it. Learn the theory and put into practice. That's what called sikkha in Buddhism mean learning and practicing in one word called sikkha or siksa. and then you reap the result of Bahana Pranya, the highest degree, which is basically abandoning your clinging, craving and clinging. You free your mind into attaining nirvana, ultimate peace and happiness. Thank you for your attention.